What is going on there, everyone? Sorry, I don't have a hat on. I know some of you get quite upset when I don't wear a hat, but they're in the wash. It's the only time I don't wear my hats. I apologize. But, that out of the way. Oh, Bernie Sanders, Bernie Sanders. I love when, he gets called out for his nonsense and his hypocritical stances. Sure it does, Sanders says. Illegal immigrant labor leads to lower U.S. wages. Yes, that's a fact. That is an actual fact. And we can also see that ever since the Trump administration has practically put an end to immigration across the board. I mean, not fully, but he's made it a lot. Even our legal immigrants, we have a lot less of them coming into the country right now, too, which surprisingly is a good thing. I mean, it's actually working out with how people are getting paid, how many jobs are available for the people, and how these businesses have to actually, offer better incentives to get qualified people in. The business itself has to fight for employees because there's plenty of employees out there that are looking for jobs, and there's plenty of jobs for these employees to get. Thanks to the Trump administration and his pretty hardcore immigration policies. But they're working for us Americans, which that should be the main point of the whole argument. I understand there's a lot of activists that are all about foreigners, which is cool. I don't mind. But yeah, this is working out for the American people, which here in America should be the most important thing. But a lot of leftist activists don't believe so. Let's get into the story. Democratic presidential candidate Bernie Sanders, a supporter of border decriminalization and comprehensive immigration reform, acknowledged in an interview that illegal immigrant labor can lead to lower wages. Yes. In an interview for the New York Times editorial board, Vermont Independent Senator Bernie Sanders spoke about a range of political issues affecting the U.S. The interview, which was released Monday, is part of the editorial board's decision process for making an endorsement in the 2020 Democratic presidential primary. The board pressed the senator on a number of his positions, including immigration. Sanders, when asked, reaffirmed his support for border decriminalization and his pledge to end all deportations. Let me just say, I think it's safe to say that pretty much everyone can say that this is the greatest economy we've had. I mean, statistically, it is the greatest economy we've had in like 50 to 60 years plus. And, yeah, if Bernie Sanders were to happen to get his border decriminalization and ending deportations, our economy would sink immediately. I mean, it would be an immediate effect. But, yeah, they don't seem to acknowledge that fact. Positions that immigration enforcement officials have said would lead to more illegal immigration. Of course, that goes without saying. If you decriminalize border crossings, of course it's going to lead to more illegal immigration. But would it be considered illegal immigration? That's the problem. There practically would be no illegal immigration if they decriminalize it. It would just be unfettered open borders type policy, which would destroy the economy. Every American, whether they were an immigrant or not, would suffer because of this. That's why it's such a ludicrous proposition. It's a proposal. It's retarded. Doesn't make sense. Doesn't make any sense. However, the board then reminded the senator that he once said illegal immigrants and guest worker programs lead to lower wages for low-skilled American workers. And I hate that they say low-skilled American workers. I don't like that. That's just a nasty way of putting it, in my opinion. No, that's what I said on the Lou Dobbs show 250 years ago, right? When you're making jokes about your own age, you're obviously too old to be running, which he is. Good Lord, I don't want to have a president die from old age. That's one of the reasons I don't like Biden. Well, one of many reasons why I don't like Biden either. I don't like none of these people because they're all fake. They all just pander and lie and are so quick to reverse their stance on things if it upsets the tribe. And that's unacceptable. Leaders are supposed to be strong. They're supposed to have strong opinions on things and strong wills. And these Democrats do not seem to have that at all. And Trump has that kind of in spades. It gets repeated a little bit. But look, I don't think if you look at the proposal that we have, and I speak as the son of an immigrant, what are we going to do, you asked? Yeah, come on, man. Yeah, I tell you what we do on day one. The senator said if elected president, he would give legal status to DACA recipients, attempt to pass comprehensive immigration reform, which would be the way our political system's set up with the right and the left now. Anybody trying to get comprehensive immigration reform is fighting just a heck of a battle. Most of the time it ends up like it's just a pain in the butt. It's going to end up being just the president saying, we're going to do this. This is like a presidential order. And that also is not that great. I don't even like when Trump does some of his straight up presidential orders. It's like, I'm not going to go through anybody. I'm putting this into law. Some of those things, I don't like when that happens. You know, we are a nation of people, not just one person in charge. And to undo other Trump administration border policies. Sanders went on to say that he sees illegal immigration get exploited by employers and that he would work to end such exploitation. Well, yeah, illegal immigrants do get exploited, and those employers should also be, have some form of prosecution about that. First off, they're hiring illegal immigrants. That in itself is a big no-no. You're not supposed to do that. But, like he was saying, which I agree with that statement, yeah, of course people are going to hire, or businesses are going to hire illegal immigrants because they can pay them dirt. And they'll take it, But what did we see with the chicken plants down south? I've mentioned this before. Chicken plants down south had a bunch of, hundreds of illegal workers. Well, ICE came in, removed those. Guess what happened? Actual Americans were lined up as far as the eye could see the very next day because they wanted those jobs. They just couldn't get them because illegal immigrants had already taken them. And they got these jobs and they were paying good. The people in the lines were saying the reason why we're standing out here to go do this chicken plant job that no one else or everyone says that Americans don't want to do is BS because they pay more than flipping burgers. So, come on. You got to think about that stuff. So, I think you're raising an issue, though, that we don't talk about a whole lot when we talk about immigration. And that is the exploitation of undocumented workers. If you don't have any documentation, I could hire you for $5 an hour, and what recourse do you have? Sanders said. Well, that's one of the whole big problems with illegal immigration, like from the get-go. It screws over the illegal people, and it screws over Americans who are trying to get the same jobs that these people are getting. Everyone's getting screwed over. That's why illegal immigration is bad. They kind of throw out the conservative argument. I mean, they put it out there for everyone to see just by stating their leftist opinions. Can you imagine that? But you don't think that exploitation results in lower wages for domestic workers? Benjamin Applebaum, a member of the New York Times editorial board, then asked the senator. The Vermont lawmaker answered in the affirmative. Sure it does. Right now we have people who are being exploited. If you're undocumented and you're being paid $5 an hour, why am I going to pay her $12 an hour? Sanders says. See, exactly. It's also everyone's getting hurt. Everyone's going to get hurt. This answer led to confusion between Sanders and the editorial board, with the Applebaum pointing out that the senator seemed to be reiterating his past position that exploitation of illegal immigrant labor leads to lower wages for American workers, which is not necessarily the case. I mean, yes, I'm sure more often than not is the case, but not in every way. Not in every way, because like I said with those chicken plants, look what happened. Those illegal immigrants that were working there were getting paid really low wages. And then when American workers came, they had to give them American workers' pay. So really, it corrected itself just by getting the illegal immigrants out of there. Just saying. That's a fact. With the exit of former HUD Secretary Julian Castro this month, Sanders is left as perhaps the most progressive candidate among the 2020 Democratic candidates on the subject of immigration. Excuse me, I don't know. Joe Biden's so out of it, and he just goes with whatever masses are saying, so he might be just as bad as Bernie, because, I mean, he just doesn't have his own mind anymore. He just goes with whatever people are saying, because whatever he talks for himself, he sounds ludicrous. I digress. The self-described Democratic Socialist released his immigration platform in November, pledging not only to end deportations and decriminalize illegal immigration, but also calling for the breakup of immigration and customs enforcement and customs and border control. Yeah, that's insane. And he's an idiot for that. I mean, that's completely stupid. You do realize there are, I mean, everyone should. We've seen quite a number of Americans killed on the southern border recently because of cartels. Yeah, get rid of border control and all that stuff and customs. Yeah, have all the Chinese fentanyl coming in from Mexico you want. Have all the illegal aliens come in. Have all the cartels freely shipping and, you know, doing human trafficking over the border. That makes all the sense in the world. Come on, man. He also wants to accept 50,000 climate migrants. Oh, Jesus. Jesus. Did he really just say climate migrants? Come on, man. How? Lefties, I know you ain't gonna like this video. Climate migrants? Get out of here, man. Provide sweeping amnesty to illegal aliens who've committed low-level crimes, and provide a pathway to citizenship for the country's estimated 11 million illegal aliens. I say we provide them with a pathway right back to their home countries. That's what we need to do. Give them all first-class trips on planes back home. You would see our economy go up even more, and I can guarantee that would happen. Guaranteed. I mean, look, I digress. However, before the onset of President Donald Trump's administration, Sanders used to hold the hawkish views on illegal immigration. In a 2015 interview with Vox, Sanders referred to open borders as a Koch brothers proposal, adding that open borders level of immigration would lead to the erosion of the nation state and make everybody in America poorer. That's because back in 2015, before this crazy massive tribalization of the progressive left, he was actually somewhat thinking on his own. But we've seen that completely go away. We saw it go away in 2016 when he just straight handed over everything to Hillary Clinton and capitulated. It was pathetic. Bernie Sanders himself is a pathetic person. This had been a position he had held for many a years. In a 2007 interview with then CNN host Lou Dobbs, Sanders said the following: "I don't know why we need millions of people to be coming into this country as guest workers who will work for lower wages than American workers and drive wages down even lower than they are now." Yes. And another thing, I mean, that's true. What he said there, I fully agree with. But it's not only that. That's not just the thing we need to worry about nowadays, because a lot of things have been changing with progressive and ultra-liberal cities. What are we seeing them do? Enact high-dollar minimum wage laws. Okay, $15 an hour in most places is what we're seeing, like in New York and many places on the West Coast. What is that actually doing? It's causing a lot of businesses to actually shut down because they just can't afford to pay that much. And plus, they want to make it to where all these people, all these businesses provide health care for their employees, which to me, it's not the business's responsibility. If you want health care, it's a service. You have to pay for it. It's not a human right like Bernie likes to say. I hate to tell you, if you have to depend on the skills and knowledge of someone else, that's not a right, because they had to go through a lot of crap to get to where they are. So it's not a right for you just to be able to use their services. I know a lot of people don't like that stance, but that's the only sensible stance I can come up with, honestly. But yeah, it's just Bernie, Bernie, Bernie. One of the biggest hypocrites up on that stage. But what can you do? At least it's finally narrowing, because today we also saw Senator Cory Booker, old Spartacus, drop out. So yeah, at least the field is narrowing, but it's still not a good field. What do we got now? We got Tom Steyer. He's in there. Just everything that the left hates, but yet they support. You know, this ultra-rich millionaire. Yeah, he's everything that they say they hate, like I said, but they support him. And then you got Bernie Sanders. I think Amy Klobuchar is still in there. Elizabeth Warren's still in there. Biden, Sanders, and Buttigieg. Not the best not the best group of candidates I've ever seen. I don't think anyone that the left has put up, I don't think any of them have a chance of beating Donald Trump. What is the old phrase? It's the economy, stupid. That's what a lot of Americans vote on. You know, I give y'all credit because y'all are at least listening to different points of views. Y'all are going and trying to find more information. A lot of Americans aren't doing that, though. There are just a lot of people who are completely oblivious to politics. Politicians, I mean, a lot of people can't even name Bernie Sanders. They don't even know who he is. Like, if you put his picture up there with a bunch of other people, they wouldn't be able to point him out because most Americans just aren't that politically engaged, unfortunately, in which it really is an unfortunate thing because these are the same people that get voted into office and will either destroy everything we know or they will actually do something good. And when the American people as a whole aren't familiar with the candidates, it can get sketchy real quick. But I digress from this. I just wanted to share this story with you because it just continues to show the hypocritical nature that is Bernie Sanders and the progressive left in general. But I'd love to hear your comments as always, and like, share, and subscribe. I will catch y'all on the flip side.